One key issue in inventory management is having a accurate records of what we have in our physical inventory, what we have in our warehouse. So for us to have reliable and accurate and updated information, we can adapt two types of approaches. One is periodically checking what we have in our warehouse. In this case, what we do is from time to time, on a periodic basis, we send people to check what we have in our warehouse, which requires labor to do that. And another option, which is more common when we have large companies, large warehouses, as information systems have evolved, is having continuous or perpetual systems where we have our inputs and outputs tracks as they occur. So when we receive something, we receive a new inventory within our warehouse. We have a barcode reader or RFID tag that is what triggers some kind of process that updates the information regarding our inventory. And the same happens when we ship products out of our warehouse. This requires an information system, which is an investment, but in exchange, the variable cost for having that information updated is far lower than the one we have when we implement periodic systems. Um, Having that inventory updated is critical because that is the way for us to make the right uh, ordering so that we have things when needed and we don't run out of stock. And even if we have any of those two approaches implemented, there are discrepancies and we may have a difference between what we have stored in our IT systems and what we actually have in our warehouse, because we have damages or pilferage, like stealing, for example. We might have clerical errors. So there are multiple reasons for this to occur. And for example, Simshi Levy, this guru in supply chain management, states that 1% of retail inventory loss is something common and even good, and it can also or even exceed 3%. I'll leave you these two links to two videos regarding one of the technologies for you to keep track of inventory, which is RFID, and that illustrates how things can be implemented using a this technology, which is not the only one, but it could be an option. And finally, I want to mention that for you to have an accurate record, you need to as I said, to check that inventory is updated or information regarding inventory is updated. And what you can do is to shut down the whole warehouse, check what you have stored, and then get back to operation, which is not a very good idea. Instead of that, what we can do is to implement a cycle counting policy, which consists in counting and updating information on a periodic basis and checking different parts of the warehouse at a time so that uh, we don't shut down the whole warehouse. And we combine this with the ABC classification that I mentioned before. The advantages are kind of obvious because we don't shut down the whole facility. Instead of that, we just close part of it and the activity can go on. We have more reliable data because it's more up to date because we don't wait until next year to get things updated. And therefore, errors are identified and fixed earlier, which means that we will have less stockouts or less bad decisions when it comes to replenishing our inventory. And here we have a very simple example to see how we can do this cycle counting in combination with an ABC approach. So imagine we have 5,000 items in stock. This can be our average items in stock. And out of those, 500 are A type, B type are 1,750, and C It's most of them, which is 200, 750. So what we want is to devote effort according to the relevance of each type of items. And in that sense, we want A items to be checked every month, the whole amount of them, every 20 working days. We want to count all B items every 3 months, 60 working days. And finally, we want all C items checked every 6 months, which is 120 working days. So this table does this quantifying of the effort we devote to every type of item. So, for example, we have 500 items of type A, and we want them checked every month. So, if we make this division here, we want 25 checked every day. The same goes for B type. So we have all the items we have divided by the cycle during which we want to have them all checked. It gives us 29 items checked per day. And finally, the C items, it means checking 23 per day. So in all, we're checking 77 items per day. So although we're checking similar amounts of items per day, since we have different amounts in the warehouse, that means checking the whole amount in different cycles, as stated with these requirements up here. So if we do that on a daily basis, we can check this. So someone goes with a tablet or with a list or whatever and checks that whatever we have stored in our IT system is consistent with what we have in our warehouse, or we can do that on a weekly basis and not do that. No, we won't do that on checking these items per day, but we would get the figure for 25 times 7 and the same for the rest, and check them on a weekly basis. So that is the checking we have to do every week or every 2 weeks or whatever it is the time for us we decide to check items. So that is the way to keep our records up to date, devoting the right effort to the right items according to their relevance, according to the classification we saw in the previous video. So I think I hope this illustrates how to classify different items and how to complement that classification with the activities of cycle counting that allows us to keep our IT systems up to date. Thank you very much.